The next big piece of news is a bit of a sad one, really, but it's from the Intel Chief Executive Officer. I didn't even know his name until today. So his name is Lip-Bu Tan. So there was a leaked internal conversation from Intel. And in a Q&A session, he shared these bleak words. 20, 30 years ago, we were really the leader. Now I think the world has changed. We're not even in the top 10 semiconductors companies. So Intel, I'm sure you know of them, they create CPUs, they create chipsets that work inside computers. They were in a position to do extremely well with artificial intelligence. They could have been producing GPUs like Nvidia, which just became the largest company on earth with a $4 trillion, you need to get used to the trillions, not the billions, a $4 trillion market capitalization. They were a competitor of Intel. And Intel actually had, here we go, Intel had a chance back in, it doesn't say the time, many years ago, Intel had the potential to buy Nvidia for $20 billion. And now Nvidia is worth $4 trillion. So I'm sure they are kicking themselves for that. So basically, this is a company which is not going to survive artificial intelligence. Chip manufacturers like AMD and Nvidia are racing ahead. They got in front of the AI trend. They realized when ChatGPT and other models were coming out that there was going to be a huge need for graphical processing units, GPUs, and they stepped up to provide for that demand. Intel did not. So Intel is very quickly becoming irrelevant. What Lip-Bu Tan, again, the CEO, he said on training artificial intelligences, I think it is too late for us. And then he talked about, again, this is a leaked document. He talked about instead they're going to plan to shift the focus towards edge AI. And edge AI is bringing AI processing directly into our devices. So instead of what we do right now, which is when we talk to ChatGPT, the AI is sitting on a server, a centralized server. We send messages back and forward. Edge AI is about bringing it directly onto our telephones, putting it directly into our computers. So Intel is saying, okay, we're going to move in that direction instead, because we've already lost the race for cloud-based AI training and AI inference as well. So that seems to be their plan. Whether or not they can catch up, I do not know. He said, stay tuned. A few more people are coming on board, so they are hiring. But how do you compete now with Nvidia, who are worth $4 trillion? It's a problem. And we're seeing a few companies who are potentially becoming legacy companies. So Intel used to be one of the largest companies on earth and is now fallen out of the top 10 semiconductors. Apple is still huge, obviously. I fear that Apple may be going this way if they don't get their shit together with regards to artificial intelligence. There's a lot of movement. Tim Cook has been moving people around, putting people under different supervision, firing and hiring. They lost one of their largest AI engineers, one of their top AI engineers last week to Meta. So we'll see. But I wouldn't be that surprised if in 5 years from now, we read a similar article about Apple, with Apple starting to decline and realizing we missed the boat and we're in a lot of trouble here. So Intel may be a canary in the coal mine for companies like Apple. And it's weird to think of a world where we don't have Apple, we don't have Google, or they've become irrelevant. And instead, it's about OpenAI, it's about Anthropic, it's about XAI and Grok, these new technology companies coming up and surpassing the last batch. It's a weird thing to think of because we've had these companies for so long, but it might be the way we're going. Replicant saying Nvidia buying Intel when, yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised. I guess the question is whether they need any help, because Nvidia are racing ahead and the money is in GPUs rather than in CPUs now, because graphical processing units can basically run a huge amount of parallel calculations all at the same time. Because originally they were used to render 3D graphics, so they were rendering everything that was happening on screen if you were playing Crysis or whatever 3D game. And that technology, it turns out, is really helpful for large language models, whereas CPUs don't work in quite the same way. So we might not need as many CPUs as we need GPUs, and Nvidia has locked that down. So I guess the question here is, what product can Intel produce better than someone like Nvidia that makes them worth even acquiring? If they can move into edge devices, if they can start to produce chips that work within telephones, fine, that would be very exciting for them. Again, I don't know why they're in a better position than Nvidia, but we'll see. We'll find out. But yes, Nvidia could entirely probably just purchase Intel at this point in order to hire away their engineers